Aloha and welcome to What's Happening Hawaii. I'm Kavika Whitelaw, your host, and today I have a special program for all you folks that have aches, pains, hurts. We might have the answer for you today. We're so pleased and privileged to have with us today Dr. Matthew Tuttle of A New Life Family Chiropractic in Pearl City, right, Doctor?
That's correct, yes.
And we're so pleased to have you with us today. And I've got a bad back, a bad knee, a bad ankle, and my wife says I'm a pain in many places to her. So we're going to find out today just what is a doctor of chiropractic and what the doctor can do for you and what needs you might have of a doctor. And so tell us first, what is a doctor of chiropractic?
Well, Kavika, a doctor of chiropractic is a doctor that doesn't use drugs or surgery. And primarily what I do is locate, analyze, and correct subluxations. The basic premise behind chiropractic is very simple. Your brain and your nervous system controls and coordinates every function in your body, certainly the healing process in your body. But in order for your brain to communicate with the rest of your body, it has to transmit these messages, these signals, through your spinal column. And so if the spine becomes misaligned, which is not something you necessarily feel, begins to interfere with these messages, things work suboptimally at first, and then problems can develop from that. And so what we do is we remove these subluxations. A subluxation is where the spine misaligns and interferes with the nervous system. We correct these subluxations so that the brain and nervous system can communicate with 100% efficiency to the rest of the body so that things work properly and heal optimally.
Okay, now you said that sometimes they may not even know that the problem that they have, the pain they're having, doesn't always come right from the spine, obviously. It actually could affect you in other parts of your body.
Without question or doubt. And in fact, this is kind of surprising to a lot of people when I tell them that I don't even treat neck and back pain. That really seems to throw people, because the general perception of chiropractic is that that we're neck and back pain doctors or headache doctors. When, in fact, like you were saying, most people aren't even aware that chiropractors are doctors. In fact, we have every bit as much education as a general practitioner, medical doctor, except that instead of our focus being on toxicology, pathology, and pharmacology, drugs and their effects, right, our focus is on anatomy, neurology, radiology. We have actually more study in radiology than a general practitioner. So that's where our focus is, and sometimes it's normal and necessary for your body to have pain. And so I tell my patients that I don't treat pain, and that can surprise them. Because yes, obviously, I've had many patients over the years that have come to me with headaches, neck pain, back pain, and I've got a stack of testimonies that talks about how much better everyone feels. But again, the point there is that only 6% of your nerves can feel pain, and so just because you're in pain doesn't necessarily mean that you're not healthy, and just because you have no pain doesn't mean that you're healthy. I always say that sitting on the couch eating donuts feels good, but it's not healthy. Getting out and running 5 miles doesn't necessarily feel good, but it's certainly healthy. A woman going through natural childbirth is not necessarily comfortable. My wife told me it was very painful. However, it was healthy. Now, she could have injected drugs directly into her spine, which is very dangerous, of course, and has lots of side effects, even though it's considered common practice. She could have done that and maybe artificially blocked the pain. Is that healthy? It's certainly not the healthiest option, and it certainly doesn't allow the body to function at 100% of normal. So that right there is an example of how you could have pain in a healthy and normal situation compared to maybe not having pain, but you've introduced toxins and interference into the body. So pain is really your body's warning system that there's a problem there, and unfortunately, and this is relatively new fact that we now know, but only 6% of the nerves in your body are even capable of feeling pain. And of course what that means is that if there's a problem somewhere in your body, there's a 94% chance you're not going to be aware of it. And that's really a hard concept for a lot of people to grasp. And so I always say that, nobody feels arteries clogging. Nobody feels cancer cells forming. But heart disease and cancer is killing 5 out of 6 Americans, 5 out of 6, with little to no warning. And that's why they call these things silent killers. So while I do want my patients to feel better, and they certainly end up feeling better, really my goal is to, frankly, is to save lives. And we save lives by not only correcting the problems that we find, but also on very thoroughly educating our patients so they make better choices for themselves and for their families.
Right. You've answered a question already for me. I've never been to a chiropractor. I haven't had to, thank the Lord. But a friend of mine was over here visiting, and he had a pain in his neck, and he said, well, I'm going to go to a chiropractor. And I drove over and dropped them off, and then he went back to the hotel and called me later. I said, well, is it fixed? He says, fixed. He says, I went in there. He said, I had a thorough examination, and we never even got to the pain that I had. And so from that, now what you said just now is when a patient comes in, though they may be having a pain, what you do is analyze the whole situation.
Correct. And I make the point, and again, sometimes it's initially distressing when I tell the patient this. In fact, I even had a commercial where I said that I've never healed even one patient. And again, I don't treat pain or symptoms. And I guess the point I make is that I'm not a healer. I can't heal a patient. Otherwise, I'd go over to Queens and put them out of business. Right. But your body is designed to heal and to be healthy if it's working properly. And so I tell my patients, in the vast majority of cases, I'm not really so interested in how they got injured. I'm really more interested in why hasn't their body healed, because injury is normal. It's going to happen. It's not normal for a person to have a chronic injury for years after the accident. A person will be telling me in great detail about how they got injured, and sometimes I even have to just cut them off and say, well, when did this happen? Oh, 3 years ago. I'm like, well, don't you think maybe the body should have healed by now? And so really, and then of course it's not normal to have a pain or a chronic injury for no apparent reason. A person will be telling me all about their pain and how bad it hurts and where, and I'll say, how did this happen? And they'll say, I don't know. I just woke up and it was there, or I was brushing my teeth. And so I ask, if everything was working normally and at 100% before you were brushing your teeth, do you think you would have gotten this debilitating injury? And the answer is, of course, well, of course not. And so, the problem was there long before the pain was. And that's a jump for some people, because we're so used to judging our health based on how we feel, which we know, again, is inaccurate, because only 6% of the nerves feel pain. And in a society of instant gratification, we're usually not looking to correct a problem or make any changes. A lot of times we just want an instant fix. And so, again, really our focus is on correcting the problems.